Through a hot American summer with no air conditioning, no cold bedroom at night, no cool office during the day, no freezing supermarkets, and no escape from the heat inside your own home. Today, we simply press a button, hear a quiet hum, and cold air begins to flow. But air conditioning is more than just a machine. It is an invention that changed where Americans could live, where businesses could operate, and even how modern cities developed. So, how did we go from surviving the heat to controlling the temperature around us? This is the story of air conditioning. For thousands of years, humans had to find natural ways to escape the heat. People used thick walls, shaded courtyards, underground rooms, fans, and even blocks of ice. But none of these methods could truly control the temperature of an entire building. By the late 1800s, America's cities were growing rapidly. Factories were becoming larger, and machines were producing enormous amounts of heat. But there was another problem. Heat and humidity could damage products. In 1902, a young engineer named Willis Carrier was asked to solve a strange problem inside a printing plant in Brooklyn, New York. The humidity was causing paper to expand and contract. As a result, colored ink could no longer line up properly on the pages. The problem wasn't simply that the workers were uncomfortable. The factory needed to control the air itself, and Carrier found a solution. Carrier designed a machine that could control both temperature and humidity. It worked by passing air over cooled coils. As the warm, humid air moved across the cold surface, moisture condensed and was removed from the air. The result? Cooler, drier air. In 1902, Carrier's system became one of the foundations of modern air conditioning. But there was a problem. These early systems were huge, expensive, and mostly used by factories and large buildings. They weren't designed for ordinary homes. For decades, air conditioning remained something of a luxury. But then something unexpected happened. The technology began moving beyond factories. By the early and mid-20th century, air conditioning was beginning to appear in theaters, department stores, offices, and other public spaces. Movie theaters discovered something important. People loved being somewhere cool during the hottest months of the year. Air conditioning became an attraction itself. But its biggest impact came after World War II. As technology improved and prices gradually fell, air conditioners became increasingly available to ordinary Americans. And this changed more than just indoor comfort. It changed geography. Before widespread air conditioning, extremely hot regions were much harder places to live and work. But with reliable cooling, places across the American South and Southwest became much more comfortable. Cities such as Phoenix, Houston, Las Vegas, and Miami experienced enormous growth. Air conditioning helped make modern life in some of America's hottest regions possible on a massive scale. It wasn't the only reason these cities grew, but it became one of the technologies that made that growth much easier. But every invention has a price. Modern air conditioning requires enormous amounts of electricity, and on the hottest days of the year, millions of Americans may turn on their AC at almost the same time. That creates huge demands on the electrical grid. There is another problem too. Many older air conditioning systems once used refrigerants that could damage the Earth's ozone layer. Over time, regulations and new technologies pushed the industry towards safer refrigerants. Today, engineers are still searching for ways to make cooling systems more efficient while reducing their environmental impact. Because the challenge is no longer simply, how do we make the air colder? The question is, how do we stay cool without paying such a high price for it? It's easy to forget how revolutionary air conditioning really was. We don't think about it when we walk into a cool store. We don't think about it when we sleep comfortably during a summer night. And we certainly don't think about it every time we press a button on the thermostat. But behind that simple machine is more than a century of engineering. An invention created to solve a printing problem eventually helped transform American homes, businesses, entertainment, and entire regions of the country. Air conditioning didn't just change the temperature, it changed America. And perhaps the most interesting part is this. The next time you feel cold air coming from a vent, remember that you're experiencing one of the technologies that helped reshape the modern world. This is Curiosity First.